Hey there, online family. It's Veronica. I'm coming at you with Balanced Living Solutions. For those of you that don't know, I specialize in guiding individuals towards a balanced and organized life post trauma. So, I create personalized solutions to help you regain clarity, rebuild confidence, and establish healthy, holistic routines that align with your goals. So today I'm focusing on my lovely people that are 50 and over, the people in my age group. So, as we know, managing stress while working and going to school can be very challenging. So, it requires us to be very intentional about our strategies for balance and self care. So, I have a few practical ways to help you stay on top of things without burning out. And being in our 50s, we tend to burn out because many of us are we're balancing, relationships, marriages, or you could be a single mom of adult children, grandkids, and so on. So it's a lot that you're juggling, and depending on what type of job you have, there's different responsibilities that require a lot of focus while you're trying to juggle your personal goals and so on. So, my first thing that I recommend is prioritize your time management. So, one of the things I like to do to prioritize my time management is use Google, and not just Google search, but actually the Google Calendar. And I like it because it gives you tons of options for reminders. That works really well for me, 10 days, 2 hours, 4 hours, where some calendars are limited. But that is one that I recommend. And another thing I recommend is set realistic goals. We don't have to try to conquer a world, in a day. Plan it out. It's okay, sometimes if let some things go, but you want to prioritize, using that 80-20 rule, meaning that you focus on 20% of the tasks that yield 80% of results. So, with that being said, for example, you maybe have on your calendar you want to get grocery shopping done. So to maximize that, in your downtime before preparing for grocery shopping, maybe you want to clip those digital coupons. And that way you're not, at checkout or trying to go through the sales paper and clip coupons and so on while trying to shop. So like that's an example of using the 80-20 rule where you can focus on 20% of the task but get yield 80% of results. So moving on, and we will find that with this time management, prioritizing, it's all about scheduling. So you want to establish a routine. Yeah, some days, things come up, life, life. So you don't be so structured or fill your calendar so much where you don't have room to maybe put something off that may need to be put off, or, when life is life and you have those emergencies and so on. Be flexible. Don't overload your schedule. So, what I recommend is you may want to block time off for work, study, self care, and relaxation. A lot of times we put off the relaxation and so on because we are so busy trying to take care of everyone else. But you have to remember, the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. So that means you have to replenish your cup. You have to make sure you're good. You can't keep running on empty or running on fumes. Otherwise, you open yourself up for burnout or illness or worse. And we don't want to, you know, prematurely get into the worst. So, including as far as, your routine, stick to a sleep routine. Many of us, we feel, oh, I'm adult, I go to bed when I want, or some of us make that choice to leave the TV on while sleeping. That is one of the things that can really affect your sleep, and it could affect your mood and so on. And why? Because your subconscious is still recording all that information while you're sleeping. So you think about it, well, when does your brain really get a chance to rest? So what I would recommend, if you want to have something playing while you're sleeping, I would recommend, maybe instrumental, you know what I'm trying to say, instrumental music, where there's, no words or anything, whether that is, study music. Me personally, I like to listen to Lo-Fi Girl. No words, and it continuously plays, and it's mellow and it's relaxing. So that is something that I would recommend. Also, I would recommend, shutting down from your electronics. Many people go to bed on their phones, and that could take your brain a while to, decompress and try to get into sleep. So at minimum, shut them down 30 minutes before. I recommend, up to 2 hours. But that's me. That's, a personal thing. That's something you can play with and see what works for you. So, I would, as far as the sleep schedule, I would aim for 7 to 8 hours. If you're able to get more, obviously great, but at least 7 to 8 hours. So, and if you know it takes you a while to fall asleep, you want to, start preparing for bed, maybe an hour or two before, so you can get into your sleep mode and get some quality sleep. And of course, that will improve your focus and your energy. A lot of times we're wondering why we're kind of foggy or we're forgetting stuff. Well, if you're going to bed 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, and you got to get up at 5 a.m., you're not getting quality rest. And especially if you're anything like me, where, you get broken sleep and you wake up and it takes a while to fall back asleep, you want to, take all of that into consideration. Um, Also, on my list is taking breaks. Try to take a break if possible. I know this is not always feasible. 5 to 10 minutes every hour. That can really, enhance productivity. You know, if you can't get that 5 to 10 minutes, try to, get up, walk away. If you work at a desk, get up, walk to the restroom or something just to, break up the monotony. But that also gives you a break from what you're doing, and it allows you time to refocus. Um, Another important thing is communication. Um, you want to create those support systems. So communicate your needs. Um, if you're, in school full time, consider, reaching out to the professor. If, there's a deadline that's conflicting with work and so on, reach out, well in advance. And many professors are more than willing to work with you, but they can't help if you don't reach out. So, you want to speak with your professors and supervisors. You may want to let your supervisors know that, hey, you are um, in a dual role of, going to school and work. And of course, when you're on the clock, they want you to, prioritize that. But, maybe if there's some after work, things they want you to commit to, if you let them know ahead of time, hey, I am in school, I have some classes and so on, they're more willing to, try and work with you as far as that, as far as, not having you be so committed to additional tasks beyond your normal work schedule and so on. So moving on to delegating tasks, that includes works, and home. If you share, a home with someone, feel free to delegate tasks. You don't have to feel like, or get wrapped up in you got to do everything, or you got to do everything to perfection. And of course, yeah, others, we all have our own version of clean, um, and that's okay. You can, if they're not maybe cleaning up to your expectation, you can, come at them with a kind suggestion. Hey, maybe you want to try it this way, or, give suggestions. But a lot of times, we want to take it over and just like, oh, okay, it's just easier and faster for me to do it. But you're burning yourself out. If you have people in the household that are willing to help, just, take that extra time and patience with them and show them how to properly do things if, they're not doing things that maybe you would do them or the same way that you would do them, but be willing to delegate and you will start to see some of that load shift. You will start to see some of that stress removed off your shoulders. Excuse me. So, moving on down my list, be sure to connect with your peers, build support systems and network systems. Say, for example, like me, I'm not good in math. I, sometimes will reach out to other students that may be, better at math or, reach out to my peers and, ask for suggestions on how to do certain things or even reach out to the professors, to get maybe advice on where to go to get additional help, like videos, what, apps or websites they recommend. Communication, communication, communication. It is key. It will relieve a lot of stress. And just know, most people are willing to help. They are happy when you ask for help. Um, of course, don't be that person that's always reaching out for help, but yet when someone reaches out to you, oh, you never have time, you're never available. It's, you give and what you put out into the universe, it's returned. So keep that in mind. And moving on down my list, try to maintain physical and mental health. I know, trying to balance, maybe trying to go to a gym and so on, it may be a little challenging. There are apps, you can do a 5 minute, workout or even a 20-minute walk if you're able to do that. Instead of being lazy like me, driving up to the mailbox, take that walk down the street to the mailbox. You just won't believe how those couple minutes will refresh you and it relieves stress. So, keep that in mind. And, I know with many of us being on the go, it's kind of hard to sometimes eat nutrient dense foods. And sometimes we let our taste buds dictate what we eat. You know, I'm I'm a sucker for bread, but bread sticks to me. So I have to work on, choosing meals that where I have to reduce the bread intake. Some of us, we like fried foods because it's crispy, it's tasty. Sometimes we may want to, switch that out and learn to bake it or, bake it on a high level where it's similar to frying or utilize things like the air fryers and so on. Just those few little things, the changes in diet, to try to go towards more nutrient dense and healthier foods will help you have more energy. And it's so easy to want to grab, like those sugary drinks or, oh, I'm gonna get a cup of coffee, I'm gonna grab a coffee. Many times what those drinks do is they will hype you up for the moment and then you crash. So, try to balance that out. If you're gonna have, say, an 8 ounce cup of coffee, try to, before you have another drink that's not water, okay, I'm gonna double that before I have another, let's say a lemonade or a tea. I'm gonna have 16 ounces of water. And just, increasing the water, believe it or not, it will help give you more energy and help, clear toxins and so on out of, your body. Another thing that I suggest, with maintaining your physical and mental health is practicing mindfulness or, deep breathing. We are under so much stress. We are dealing with so many changes. Sometimes it's not even day by day, it's a matter of hour by hour. So, learning to be able to, you know, inhale and hold it for a certain amount of time and exhale. Um, Even, when you're just, sitting at your desk or sitting at a light, learning to breathe, especially while driving nowadays. Um, that can help relieve a lot of stress or, partaking in yoga. It's not very, straining on the body, but it brings a lot of, I would say, stress release and and strength. So, if you are, don't already partake in yoga, maybe consider trying that. Um, if nothing else, take a pause, because of all the stress that everyone's under. Take a pause, take some extra breaths before responding to people, before responding to emails, whatever. Just takes a few extra breaths. Um, Moving on, if you are, a student, you know, using efficient study techniques, whether that may look like flashcards for use, summaries, they say that if you review your lessons before bed, you tend to retain it. I found that I don't encourage cramming, but when I do cram, that kind of helps me going over all of my summaries or all of my previous quizzes before bed. It does help. It does stick. Um, More importantly, optimize your study environment. And what I mean by that is make sure it's, clutter free. It is quiet. And because if you have a bunch of clutter around, obviously that's a reflection of what's going on in your mind. Sometimes that clutter can be a distraction. So you want to avoid that so you can try and stay focused. And if you are, in a household that you share with others, maybe mention when your study time is. So if you decide to close your door or put a sticky note on your door, they know to respect, that boundary. And that way you can maximize your, study time. And let's see. This is a big one. Say no when necessary. That includes family, friends, whatever. Sometimes the power of saying no, you won't believe how much stress that reduces. You may initially feel a little awkward, but the more you learn to say no, and not in a mean way, it's a matter of taking care of your self care, putting you first, and just letting people know, hey, I'm sorry, but the answer is no. You don't even have to apologize. If the answer is no, it's just no. And if they can't accept that, guess what? Not your problem. All right. So, my last note is, stay motivated and celebrate progress, even if it's the little things. Say you were planning to get the entire house, cleaned on Saturday, but you only got to your bedroom and the laundry in the kitchen. Celebrate that, because as we know, housework is never done. There's always something to be done. And encourage yourself, do that mirror work. When you're in front of the mirror, let yourself know, I love you. I'm proud of you. I'm glad you accomplished XYZ. And don't focus on what you didn't get done. Celebrate you and celebrate your wins. Um, and the reason why you're doing that is because you want to reflect on your why. You want to remind yourself of your goals and why you're pursuing them. So if you need to celebrate those wins, because otherwise if you focus on the negative, it could, turn into anxiety, it can turn into depression, and it can make everything else that you're trying to pursue difficult, or you'll find that your focus is not where it needs to be, and that's how we overlook different things. So, as I was mentioning, celebrating those small wins. For example, if you completed a tough assignment while balancing work and school, hey, that's another week of achievement. Celebrate that. Even if maybe you were aiming for an A and you got a C, well, C's get degrees. Keep that in mind. So celebrate that, because, hey, you are balancing a lot. Um, and lastly, take time to enjoy activities you love. Um, for example, if you like reading or you want to indulge in hobbies or start, new hobbies, everything in moderation. You don't want to start something major like learning how to ski and you got a full load as far as school and you're working full time. You know, little things. Um, but it's important that you indulge in your hobbies or anything that you love doing. Don't continue to put that off. And when I say why I say continue is because many people will, oh, that's on my bucket list. I'll do that later. I got to do XYZ. No, remember at the top of this video, I said you got to remember to pour into you because you can't pour from an empty cup. So, with that being said, remember you are important. Rome wasn't built in a day. And balance your time and your efforts and celebrate your wins. And remember, tomorrow's a new day. It is a present from God. It's the next day is another day for you to be the best version of you. On that note, be blessed and be a blessing to others. And remember, I'm Veronica. I'm the Healthy Life Coach, and I enjoy helping others reach their goals and seeing other people win. So if you resonated with this, please leave me a comment, please share, please like, and I will see you in the next video. Be blessed.